Welcome to the C-Suite Mentor, the place where you will learn the tools, strategies, and mindset to scale your business sustainably and build a lasting legacy. I'm your host, Theresa Cantley. As a fellow CEO, I understand what it takes to scale a business to 7 and multiple 8 figures. It's not necessarily what you might think. It requires a complete shift in how you think, strategize, and execute key actions in your business. My mission is to help CEOs step back into the driver's seat of their business by optimizing their operations, empowering their team, and staying in total alignment with their big vision. So, are you ready to exchange everything that hasn't worked for strategies that will? You're in the right place, so let's go. Hello and good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today for today's episode, today's brief leadership bites to give you some actionable things that you can do to bring your team together, to show up as your best self, as the best leader that you can be in your business, as well as some other tips and tricks that you can do to really make this year and beyond an amazing year. So if you know me and you've joined me here before, you know that I have a deep, deep, deep passion about Main Street businesses, about founder-based businesses that could be found on a main street in a town, in a city, whatever, or just founder-based businesses, small businesses. And the truth is that I've always been super passionate about these businesses. Because where I grew up, at the time I thought it was a big metropolis. If you've ever heard thriving metropolis, if you've ever heard of Billy Joel's Allentown, I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, right outside of it. And used to shop at all these individual, these Main Street businesses, still do. And then down the road, I ended up owning my own Main Street business. And then down the road, I worked with and have worked with many, many, many founder-based business owners, people who have businesses on Main Street. And I now run multiple Main Street businesses with clients of mine. So I believe, and I have this huge passion that with founder-based businesses, with Main Street businesses, that they are what keeps the economy healthy. They are what keeps communities healthy, what makes dreams happen. I mean, if you've ever talked to a business owner, a founder of a business, I mean, the dreams that they have and the mission that they have and the vision that they have is so incredible. And it's big enough to fit the dreams and the vision and the mission that each individual person within their business may have individually, right? They really, I do believe that Main Street businesses have the ability to really further innovation because they don't have to jump through all those crazy hoops like corporate America. But also they can take that creativity, they can take those ideas, they can take those big dreams that they have and test stuff out. Like really make the business like in corporate it's R&D. Well, that's what the entrepreneurial experience is. It's all R&D. It's all experimenting and trying new things and doing different things. And they really, at the end of the day, these businesses, they really do a lot to care for the families of the people that they employ, right? I have this core philosophy that with Main Street businesses, with founder-based businesses, that we have the ability to really improve connection and communication within the business. And if we do that and we make that experience healthy for the people that work inside the business, healthier for the vendors that we work with every day, healthier for the people in the community, that helps people feel good. And then hopefully it will then spread out into the world. But it starts with the leader. It starts with the person who is in charge and the leadership team. And I think that in conversations that I've had with people over the past couple weeks, and even prior to the end of the year, just the feeling of, and I just had this conversation the other day, the feeling of being stuck. Okay. Feeling like I'm stuck. I'm not really sure what to do. There's so much stuff that's out there about what 2026 is going to look like. I mean, every time you turn around, I was on a call, a mastermind call the other day, and we were talking about content. And it was do this, don't do this. This is what's different. Buyer behavior is different. Blah, blah, blah. And I was even listening to it going, oh my gosh, like every time you turn around, it's like you got to do something different. And there's all these predictions and whatnot. So I wanted to kind of cut through all of that today because I think depending on, because remember what I said, building from the inside out, the core philosophy that I teach, building from the inside out, always starts with the leader. Making these businesses healthy always starts on the inside, not on the outside. Okay. So there is a lot of noise out there about marketing, about social media, about buyer behavior, about the economy, about the government, about, I was just told yesterday, we need to figure something out because there's no more pennies. So there's all kinds of all of this external stuff and external noise, and it's a lot to take in. And when you are a small business owner and your focus is moving your mission forward and delivering this amazing service, amazing product, amazing food, whatever it is, to your community, all of this noise that's out there can feel overwhelming and again can lead to feeling stuck. And the thing that I'm going to tell you is stuck is a choice. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a big business owner, if you're a small business owner, just in your personal life, stuck is always a choice. And I remember the first time I ever heard that, a mentor of mine said it to me, and I was like, but you don't understand what's going on with me. You don't understand. But the truth is, stuck is a choice. All right. And I heard something the other day that if you're feeling stuck, you're not truly stuck. It's that you're holding on from something from the past. You're holding on to who you were before, and it's preventing you from moving forward with a new idea, a new initiative, a new year, whatever it is. Okay. And I run into this a lot. Because when I'm working with Main Street business owners and their leadership teams, when I'm working with them, I hear a lot, and this is a form of stuck. I'm overwhelmed. I don't have enough time. I don't know how to do this. We're overscheduled. I don't think I can get people to commit to this. Whatever it is, what's behind it is that feeling of I feel stuck. And if people don't actually vocalize that, I can read right through it when they're telling me, I don't have enough time. I don't think I can get this done. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I have to handle all of these things. And the truth is all of that is procrastination and a form of some kind of a fear about moving forward. And if we are holding on to past mistakes, missing our numbers last year, having struggles with employees, having struggles with the economy, having struggles with tariffs, whatever it is, if we're holding on to that and we're carrying it moving forward, of course we're going to feel stuck because we're trying to move forward with something new, holding on to a lot of elements from the past. Therefore, we start to feel overwhelmed because we're not letting go of whatever that is. Okay. And I think we're going to talk about 4 different types of Main Street business owners. Okay. 4 different types. I run into these all day, every day when I'm working with people. And there's nothing wrong with any of them. It's just that when we are trying to move forward and we're feeling stuck, some of these, there's elements of all 4 that make it a little bit more difficult to let go of past mistakes, let go of who you were in 2025, putting out fires all the time and trying to just keep your head above water. I've heard a lot like, we're just in survival mode, Theresa. We're just in survival mode. And a lot of that, again, is holding on to something from the past. And the past could be yesterday. All right. It could be a situation that happened with an employee and we're holding on to the emotion, the feelings, the belief, whatever was attached to it. And like I said, there's four different types of Main Street leaders, and really this could apply really in leadership in general. If you've taken my quiz, I've talked about four different types of entrepreneurs, but specifically when it comes to Main Street businesses, I don't care what type of leader or business owner you are, you there is again, you have the ability to innovate. You have the ability to make a giant difference in society, starting with your local community. You have the ability to really impact and create a healthier economy just simply by what you're doing. But you can make a bigger impact if you're willing to get unstuck. All right. And I actually just got an email today for a workshop that somebody's teaching, and they were saying how to get unstuck in 2026. And I think it's a little easier than what people make it out to be. But I'm telling you, as clear as I know my name, that feeling of being stuck, because I've been there myself, a lot of it has to do with holding on to a previous something, previous results, previous problems, previous failures, previous frustrations, whatever it is. And that holding on to that is not going to help us move forward with these new ideas that we have for the new year, for a new time period, for our business, whatever it is. Okay. And when we're facing that friction where we want to grow, we say, and this is the misalignment that I talked about last week, misalignment with the goals that we have for our business and the belief that we have about what's possible for achieving those goals based on what we've already done. And you get some friction, right? So that feeling of stuck is that friction between we're feeling stuck because we're letting all of these external circumstances that are happening, all of these past things that have happened, all of these circumstances determine and define what is possible for our mission, our vision, our goals, whatever it is moving forward. So you can see, if we break it down that way, you can see how, yes, you would feel stuck. And again, I'm not immune to this. I mean, the things I talk about are from my own experiences as a CEO, as an entrepreneur myself, but also working with business owners and entrepreneurs every day. So I want to talk about these four different types. All right. And we're going to go through these. I'm going to give you little snippets about them, but I'm also going to give you some questions you can ask yourself if you're identifying with one of these types of leaders. Because again, your ability to get unstuck and to let go of whatever happened, learn from it, and then move forward. These different types of leaders, it like depending on what type you are, it's going to be easier for you to do that. Okay, so the first one is the craft master. This is a leader, a business owner that a lot of people call them operators. Okay. When a business owner gets stuck in operator mode, I call it craft master. It is someone who is so passionate about their craft. It could be cooking, it could be baking, it could be selling, it could be designing something. All right. And we get so caught in doing the work and being in the middle of everything, okay, that we miss the mission, that we get so caught in that day to day and, like I always say, in the weeds, that we end up getting overwhelmed because we know that our vision and our dreams need us to drive that forward. But at the same time, we're so comfortable and so passionate about our craft for baking, our craft for cooking, our craft for, like I said, selling. I have a business owner that I work with who is obsessed with sales, but that's not the best use of what he needs to do, because he has all these big goals, he has all these big dreams, he has this big vision, but he can't get to it because he wants to be on the floor selling, even though he has a full team and a management staff to take care of those things. Okay. So you can see where the friction starts to come in, where you're so obsessed with your craft. I run into this a lot with executive chefs. They get so passionate about really digging in, and a lot of them end up staying on the line in a kitchen, and they want to be in there in the nitty gritty of cooking, and then forget about the vision that they have for the kitchen, for the culinary experience, whatever that is. And the even bigger thing is they miss the whole part of mentorship, right? Because they're like, "Oh, I'm so passionate about this, but I know I need to do this." And then that friction starts to happen. Okay. So that's number 1, which is I'm going to call it the craft master. All right. Number 2 is, this is the firefighter. This is the one that is just constantly, this is the one that gets distracted the most. This is the firefighter who is simply just putting out fires all day long. Okay. They know, again, they write, I even see this, they write down goals that they need to accomplish for the day, or they have a to-do list. And then it is so easy for them to get caught up in drama that might happen, or caught up in fires that need to be put out, situations that come up constantly, and then they get frustrated. They get frustrated because 85% of their day is spent putting out fires, dealing with drama, dealing with situations that then they can't deal, or they can't do the things that they really need to do to continue to move the needle on goals that they want to achieve in the business. And they do this out of the clear necessity, or the clear thinking of, and again, it comes down to some fear, is I can't let go of that control of fixing. They're the fixer. Okay. This person is the fixer. I need to fix this situation. I need to fix this disagreement between these people. I need to fix the problem that we have with the vendors, instead of learning how to let go of that control, how to let go of that fixer. And a lot of that fixer part of it has to do with deriving, okay, I need to make sure that all these people are happy. I need to make sure that all of my employees are happy. And then what happens is they end up getting taken advantage of, okay? Or they end up getting in the middle of everything. And then they get frustrated because they can't handle the things that they need to handle. I run into this a lot with general managers of restaurants. I run into this a lot with store managers of stores. I run into this again with business owners. I worked with a couple, a husband and wife, who owned a very large company out in Denver, and they were just constantly putting out fires because they were afraid to. They were afraid that if their managers in different departments that they had in their business would handle it, it wouldn't get done the same. And they were just so afraid because they didn't want the other person to quote unquote fail. And they also were afraid that, oh my gosh, if this falls apart and they don't handle it right, I don't want them to be upset. So then they end up trying to like overcompensate for everything. But what happens is, again, they start to feel stuck. They start to feel frustrated. They are typically the ones that come to me that are saying, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't have time to get anything done. I walk in the building, and at the end of the day, when I'm going to leave, I look and I'm like, I didn't get anything done. And my thing to them is, let me see your calendar. And there's normally nothing on the calendar. In fact, one client that I work with, he always comes to me with register paper, register receipt, um, scraps of paper with his to-do list written on it. Okay. So we have that, the firefighter, the fixer. All right. Number 3 is, I call this the greatest showman. All right. The greatest showman. And this is typically someone who is extremely creative, someone who has a lot of ideas. Okay. But they don't know how to implement any of them. So all they're doing is it's like a fire hose. They just have all of these ideas, And many times over, they will cover up a lot of things because, oh, yeah, we're good. We got this. We got this. I know what we're doing. And they end up covering up a lot of the cracks that are in the foundation. Okay. Only clearly, and all of these different types of leaders, even though they're in, I put them into one of these categories, they're all, what it all comes down to is they are like this because they are passionate about what they do. They are passionate in some form about making a difference, not just in their business, but also in the community. Okay. They don't pay attention to, they don't even think about like the big box stores or anything many times over. They're just so super focused on making a difference. Okay. So the greatest showman, again, there's a lot of talk in there, but when you start to dig into things, those foundational systems or processes or things that need to be implemented, they haven't implemented yet. So they think to themselves, if we just keep adding more, it will help. And the truth of the matter is, when you uncover it, when we start to uncover what's behind it, we start to see, okay, here's where there's some breakdowns going on. Okay. So you can see it. It's like painting the big show. All right. There is a business in the area where I run one of the restaurants and retail stores. There's a business there, and you constantly hear about how amazing everything is, how, they're launching all this stuff and how amazing, their business is and how amazing things are happening. And when you start to peel back the layers, because I've had conversations with the business owner, when you start to peel back the layers, there's breakdowns because they don't have good systems in place to be able to handle the volume, which I know happens a lot because it comes from, you get in there, you start your business, you are just going to build that dream, and you don't take the time to build those systems and processes in place. You don't take the time to empower next level leaders. You don't take the time to empower your team and explain the greater mission. So what happens is eventually you're basically building a house on a broken foundation or no foundation. Okay. You're building a house without putting up the frame first. All right. It's common. It's common because we just get in there and we just go. Right. And again, it leads to feeling stuck because it leads to a lot of overwhelm. All right. And the last one is, I call this the idea king slash queen. This is the visionary. This is the one that does have a lot of the ideas. All right. They do understand some of the strategy, but where they get stuck in is they plow through it themselves. Instead of taking some time to figure out, okay, how can I build a leadership team so that I can communicate this vision and then they can do it, they end up wanting to just do it themselves. All right. So there's a little bit more substance behind the ideas that they have because they understand some of the strategies, but this is where they lack the execution, the ability to execute, and not because they don't know what to do, but because they're doing it themselves, right? They are also the people that have tons of ideas and they want to implement everything. And what happens is that, and that's different than the greatest showman. The greatest showman has all these ideas, but they don't get implemented. The visionary has all these ideas and they all get implemented. So what happens is you burn out your team, right? You frustrate and you burn out your team because they're running around like a maniac trying to get all this stuff done because they know that you want it done and they know it's going to make a difference and they know it's going to be great. But what happens is that you're like overwhelming them. And the other thing what happens is, and I see this a lot, is this goes back to the adding more in, and they get away from the core of what they do. So in essence, they overcomplicate the business, right? But again, these four different types of leaders, what's behind it all is they're just passionate about making a difference. They're passionate about building a business that matters and building a business that can make an impact in their local area and with their team. It's just that they don't necessarily understand all the parts that are involved in all of this. And they don't necessarily understand all of the pieces that need to be put into place in order to really get what they've already built to scale. Okay. So I'm going to give you 4 questions, one for each one of the types of leaders that you can ask yourself, that I want you to ask yourself after you're done watching this episode, but to ask yourself to maybe help you start to think about things a little bit different in your business. All right. So, number 1 is if you are the craft master, all right, if you are the one that is just so into your craft and you end up getting into the weeds and because that's what you love, that you miss the rest of it. You miss driving the vision forward. You miss driving the mission forward. My question to you is, what can you do to bring your team into your larger mission and larger vision? What can you do to start empowering people and mentoring them to do things the same way that you would do them? The second one is, number 2 is for the firefighter, the disorganized. What can you do to really think about the experience that you're creating for your team first? Because remember, we're always building and leading from the inside out. What can you do to deepen the experience for your team first? Okay. So that people understand their impact on the greater mission. People understand and they're empowered to handle problems. What can you do to deepen that experience that you're creating for your employees that will then turn around and create that better experience for your customers? Okay. How can you empower people to make decisions, solve problems, whatever it is, so that you can remove yourself from being in the middle of everything? Number 3 is, this is for the greatest showman, is who needs you to be at your best? Okay. Who needs you to, and being at your best is number 1, having the ideas and being vulnerable enough to say, I don't know how we're going to make this happen, but instead of just talking about it, we're going to figure it out together. So who on your team, who in your business needs you to be at your best and be able to have that transparency and that vulnerability to say, again, we want to accomplish all these things. I think these are all great ideas. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to figure it out. Right. And then number 4, for the idea king or queen, the visionary, is how can you simplify what you're doing? How can you simplify so that you can amplify? All right. How can you not add more into your business, but go deeper? All right. What are things that maybe you've implemented that have overcomplicated some things? So, how can you simplify what you're doing, simplify your ideas to get back to the core so that you can amplify your results and amplify your impact? So, I hope this helped you. And remember, if you're listening to this and you aren't a Main Street business owner, you're not a founder based business, remember to support them because they are indeed the people who are creating more wealth in our economy. They are people who are making dreams happen. They are people who can hold a space big enough so that everybody's dreams fit into it. They are the people within the business and the business owners that can really make an impact, a positive impact on society and really move us forward. So, but I would also love in the comments below, let me know what was most helpful during this episode. Was it the type of leader that you are? Was it the questions? Tell me what you're going to do to start implementing these things today or this week so that you can not feel stuck. You can get unstuck. You can let go of whatever happened before so that you can move into the future, into the best version of you that your business and your vision needs. So until next week, have a great rest of your week. I will see you soon. Hey there. Thank you so much for listening. If you found value on this show, please follow the podcast so you never, ever miss an episode. And I would love, love, love if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify for me. Even better, share the show with a fellow business owner ready to step fully into their CEO leadership role. Because right now, more than ever, the world really needs next level leaders. And by the way, did you know you can text me all your questions and get real-time feedback? You absolutely can. Just text the word CEO to me at 610-215-2838 to get connected. One last goodie for you before I go. If you're ready to scale your business and have a co-creator working right by your side, my C-Suite Mentor Program may be perfect for you and your possible new second in command. Just visit thecsuitementor.com to get started.